It's the Rome Show!
With your hosts, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of the Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV, channel 217. Must I say to start the show, happy birthday to me. Yeah, that is right. I am celebrating my 34th birthday on the Rome Show today. I am Andrew Romanella. Happy birthday to me. Join us on the show, the Rome Show on social media. Yeah, that's the type of day we're going to have today. It's going to be fun. It's going to be upbeat. It's going to be exciting because, yeah, it's birthday day. I read something online today saying that October 24th is a national holiday for most people. So let this serve as your note to your boss, maybe your teacher, or whoever you must talk to get excused from work, that being it is the Rome Show's birthday, we must give our friends the day off. So clip this, send it to your boss, get yourself off of work. I'll be here for 30 like we do every single day, and we'll be talking a lot of stuff. We got Thursday night football on the docket today, Vikings at Rams. We're going to talk a little bit of news going around the National Football League, including Tua Tagovailoa, which I just think is a wild story. NBA day number 2, including Intuit Dome, the new home of the Los Angeles Clippers, was opened with an overtime game between the Clippers and the Suns. The Heat dedicated their floor to Pat Riley. And then, like we do to end every single show, we do some daily bananas and try and put some money in your pocket. The show's on 12ouncesports.com. You can watch it on Dingo TV, channel 217. You can follow us on social media, The Rome Show 1. And thank you to the people that have already tuned in and wished the happy birthday. I really do appreciate that. Yes, engaged, birthday, same week, on a heater. And just so everybody's aware, that was the plan. The idea here was to distract the opportunity to get engaged with the chance to have a birthday. So in Juliana's world, we were thinking a lot about birthday celebration and what we're going to do for my birthday. Whereas in my world, I was able to then prepare for engagement. It was a great combo, great week. Celebrations go on all week. We were bowling last night. What a time we had. But I don't want to talk any more about that. I want to talk about football. So let's start today with Thursday night football. It's the matchup you're going to get. We will talk about it early and then we will pick it late. That's how we're going to do it today on the Rome Show. Vikings at Rams. So a few different things here to go through as we talk about this game. First off, it's the NFL as a whole, okay? Because you're going into week number 8, and now's the time to decide, are you legitimate as a team or are you not, okay? And so one of the teams I would be talking about right now in terms of are you legit or are you not is the Minnesota Vikings. Now, if you replay the season for the Vikings, they draft J.J. McCarthy as their first overall pick in the 2024 draft. He gets hurt and is out for the remainder of the season. You have Sam Darnold as your backup. Now, we're not going to sit here and pretend like Sam Darnold is the greatest backup in the world, but the guy started a lot of games and he knew what he was doing. And Sam Darnold is thrown for 1,370, 12 TDs and 5 interceptions, and has the Vikings at 5-1 right now. In second place in their division because they lost to the Lions last week by 2 points, and the Lions are also 5-1. So the first team I'd ask the question about in the National Football League of are you legitimate or are you not is the Minnesota Vikings. And in week 8, we get to see them in action. So I would say that's the first place I would start. Okay. How good is the quarterback? How good is the offense? Because Justin Jefferson has been as good as Justin Jefferson needs to be, no matter who's throwing him the rock. But right now has 531 yards and 5 TDs. Aaron Jones has been running the ball very well, top 12 in the league in rushing yards. He's only got 2 on the ground, but the team's only got 4, so it's not like that's a big deal. So they have a very good offense right now by National Football League standards, but do you trust the quarterback? Do you believe this team offensively can sustain this versus some of the best defenses in the league? Now, I do believe they will find their way to competing for this division title. Listen to this schedule over the next 6 to 8 weeks for the Minnesota Vikings. The Rams tonight, the Colts next week, then the Jags, then the Titans, then the Bears, then the Cardinals, then the Falcons, then the Bears. That's their next 8 weeks. Now, there is no cakewalk in the National Football League. There's no team that you just roll up and go, we're going to wax these dudes today. Maybe the Lions that went 0-16 or the Dolphins that went 1-15. Maybe those 2 teams you could have rolled up. Maybe the Carolina Panthers. You roll up and you're like, we're probably going to win this game with our C+ effort. But for the most part, in the National Football League, there's no cakewalks. So I do get that. But there is no reason why, if you look at the next 3 weeks to 4 weeks alone, Rams, Colts, Jags, Titans, the Vikings should not find themselves at 9-1 and one of the top 5 teams in the league. And then on the other side, you have a Rams team that is fighting itself. Who are they? What are you? What's your identity? Ndamukong Suh is gone. You don't have Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp is essentially probably on the trade block, hurt. It's just not a good year. Your weapons are slaughtered. You have Kyren Williams. That's great. And Matthew Stafford. And your defense is playing better, trending upwards, but And if you're the Rams, that's what you're just trying to find out here in your 7th game in week 8. Who are we? What's our identity? Because when you have a franchise player like Ndamukong Suh, who really gives your team an identity outside of the quarterback or the wide receiver or the running back. Have you ever noticed that? Teams that have an identity on both sides of the ball, that have a quarterback on both sides of the ball, that have somebody that can dictate the tempo for both sides of the ball, those teams are usually great. Generally, we're talking about teams defensively and a star or 2 as much as we're talking about the quarterback, right? I actually think the Kansas City Chiefs right now are a great example of this, right? It's not like the Kansas City Chiefs are tearing up the league. It's like the opposite. They're playing really good defense and they're finding a way. And if you look at the statistics, as we just pulled up here on our handy dandy computer, the Chiefs are averaging 24.3 points per game, which is good for 13th in the league, right in the middle of the pack. Okay? That's on offense. If you go to points per game on defense, the Chiefs are giving up 17.2. That is good for 5th in the league. There is no being great without being great on the defensive side of the ball. And the fact of the matter is, Ndamukong Suh by himself changed the feeling of that entire defense for the Rams. And now you don't have him and you have to rebuild that identity. And that's a very difficult thing to do. And that's what the Rams are trying to find here. So now if you look at the overall standings in the National Football League, the picture starts to shape up this time of year. So we'll go to the AFC first. It's a battle of who wants to lose the division in the AFC East at this current moment. The Bills lead the division at 5-2, and this is how poor it is. The Miami Dolphins, who are 1-3 in their last 4, are currently in second place at 2-4. That's because they have had a bye week. The Jets have not. They're 2-5. The Aaron Rodgers experiment doesn't look like it's working very well, but they have Devontae Adams now, so let's see what happens there. And the Patriots are just bad at 1-6. In the AFC North, the Ravens and the Steelers sit at 5-2. Mike Tomlin, good move for Russell Wilson, at least through the first week. We'll see what happens next week. The Bengals are starting to find their groove. Winners of 2 of their last 3 for a 3-4 record. The Browns are terrible. Jameis Winston will be starting for them this week. The Houston Texans lead the AFC South with a 5-2 record. Right behind them is the Indianapolis Colts. Now, my question is, who's the right quarterback for the Colts? You might think I'm slightly kidding here. I'm not at all, because I don't know if I believe in Anthony Richardson. And the fact of the matter is, Joe Flacco's actually looked good enough behind center for the Colts. So we see what happens there. It's going to be Richardson's till it's not, but maybe Flacco's the right decision. The Jags, 2-5. They righted the ship against the lowly Patriots. I've noticed something about the Jags. They're terrible on the road. And that doesn't include London because they count that as a neutral site. They're 0-4 away from Jacksonville and 2-1 at home. So, figure that out if you're the Jags. So technically that's 1-1 at home because one of those is neutral as well. The Titans stink, 1-5. And to finish up the AFC, the Chiefs are undefeated at 6-0. As we told you yesterday, they traded for DeAndre Hopkins from the Tennessee Titans, conditional 4th round pick. 6-0, 5th best scoring defense in the league. Denver Broncos are 4-3. They are trending in the right direction. They're the opposite of the Jags. They can't win at home. 1-2 at home, 3-1 on the road as Bo Nix continues to get better to a degree in his rookie season. The Chargers 3-3 in the new Harbaugh experiment, and the Raiders 2-5 trying to figure out who is going to play quarterback there. By the way, the Chargers do what the Chargers do, 500, 3-3. Doesn't matter who the coach is or the quarterback. It seems that way. In the NFC East, the Commanders are leading the division with a 5-2 record. They are undefeated at home, which I think is huge. This is wild statistic. Both the Cowboys and the Giants are combined 0-7 on their home turf. And I also saw another crazy stat. It's been like 735 days since Danny Dimes, that's no longer Dimes, it's more like Danny Pennies, has thrown a touchdown at MetLife Stadium. That's scary is right. That is very scary. So the Giants and the Cowboys need to get it figured out at home. Cowboys are 3-3, and the Giants are 2-5. The Eagles are in second place in this division at 4-2. I don't think any team in this division is necessarily elite, but I actually do think, as it stands, not just because their records, excuse me, the Commanders might be the best team in this division. We will see how it shapes out moving forward. In the North, the Lions 5-1, the Vikings 5-1. We just talked about this. They played each other last week. Lions won 31-28. The Packers, though, winners of 3 straight. The Bears, though, winners of 3 straight. Jordan Love healthy. That Packers offense looks really, really good. The Bears have to find a way to do it away from Soldier Field as they're 4-0 at home, 0-2 on the road. But the last 2 weeks, Caleb Williams looking a lot like that number 1 overall pick the Bears chose. The Falcons lead the NFC South. The NFC South is like a bruiser type division. It's like the SEC in college football when you're going through Georgia, Alabama, LSU, right? It's just a gauntlet. Like no team is elite on paper in the NFC South, and they're probably not going to win the Super Bowl either unless Tom Brady's the quarterback. But they're always going to bang it around. They're going to battle out each other. They're going to grind them out. Most of the games are going to be ugly. It's just the type of division it is. The Falcons lead it by a nose hair. 4-3. The Bucs are 4-3. The Falcons have the tiebreaker. Their division record's 3-0, while the Bucs is 1-1. The Saints are 2-5, trying to figure it out. They're losers of 5 straight. Spencer Rattler at quarterback right now, while Derek Carr is hurt. I think it's safe to say Derek Carr is not the answer for people. Maybe a good backup quarterback, not the answer as the starter. And then the Panthers 1-6. Yeah, they're headed back to Bryce Young at quarterback. Apparently, Andy Dalton's got a wrist thing. You know what this has the makings of? This is Zach Wilson 2.0. That's exactly what this is. It's Zach Wilson 2.0 in Carolina right now. Not a good place to be if you're the Panthers. And then finally, the NFC West. The Seattle Seahawks 4-3. The Cardinals and the Niners 3-4. The Rams, we mentioned before, 2-4. This is a moshed up division. Everyone thought that the Niners were going to come out here, win this division. It was going to be a battle of second place. So far, the Niners have not played up to standard, and the Seahawks have played higher than people expected, and the Cardinals are the Cardinals. Like, there's so much potential there, but there's no consistency in that unit right now. So the Seahawks lead that NFC West battle. To just finish off your rundown heading into week 8 of the National Football League. If it was to end today, the 2 wild card teams in the AFC would be the Steelers and the Colts. And in the NFC, it would be the Vikings and the Packers. So a lot of time, so much time until all of this stuff is determined. But it is definitely a lot of fun to look at where you are in this moment, because this is that time. Like, you remember that speech from the old Arizona Cardinals coach? We are who they thought they were. That's exactly what this time of year is. Like, if the Giants go out and lose another poor football game, no one should be surprised. If Tua Tagovailoa starts for the Miami Dolphins, one, I think he's crazy. What are you doing and why? I love you. It's embarrassing that our organization only needs you to play. I read a quote this morning from Tyreek Hill saying he was like crying when Tua returned to the practice field. What is that? First off, you see a guy in NC State. I don't know if you've seen this story. NC State quarterback Grayson McGill. I want to make sure I say his name right. Grayson McCall, who was a 4-year starter at Coastal Carolina, kind of put them on the map. He had another he transferred to NC State in his grad year, 4th week, got a concussion, and apparently he's had a string of these, and he has decided to hang him up in his 5th year of college football. Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I don't look at the CAT scans. I don't know anything about what's inside that guy's head. All I know is he's taken 4 that I know of really bad hits in the last 3.5 years. And I can't not imagine that bodes well for you long-term in the head department. And the Miami Dolphins organization is not set up well enough that they only can be good with Tua Tagovailoa. Tua's in, we win. Tua's out, we suck. That's not a good thing. We should probably build our franchise better than to rely on one person who has chronic head injuries. Wild. So it blows my mind how some of these teams are so reliant on one player. And I think it is a indictment on the franchise if you need a player to essentially battle long-term life health issues to play for your team so you have a chance to win games. It's not a good place to be. It's a good place to be when you're listening to the Rome Show here, 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV channel 217. When we get back, we're going to go around the National Basketball Association. And then, as we always do, we pick your winners tonight in the bananas category. We're going to go with all Thursday night football, Vikings versus Rams. The Rome Show, 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV channel 217. Back after this commercial break.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Seven. I stand corrected on my statement on the Open is the second greatest day in the history of the world. The first greatest day is right behind me, which was my engagement. Today being my birthday can take the cake as number two. The Rome Show here, 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV channel 217. Get in on the action, all the social media platforms. The Rome Show 1, that's the Rome Show. Then the number 1, it's in the bottom corner of the screen. You can comment in on the show whenever you want. Get on the YouTube, give us a comment. I love when people do that. I wanted to throw this one up on the screen and thank Marcus for his really nice comment into the show. All we're really trying to do here is create some entertainment for people in the morning. Everybody's schedule in the morning is so different, and I just want you to be able to throw something on in the background for 30 minutes. Maybe it'll make you laugh. Maybe it'll give you some insight. Maybe it'll get you fired up, which gives you some energy in the morning. But we are just trying to be a nice sports podcast, Marcus, and it sounds like today, at least, we have hit our goal. So thank you, Marcus. I urge you to share the show with a friend. Share 12ouncesports.com with friends. Just go to the YouTube .com page and follow 12 Ounce Sports. It's the number 12 OZ Sports. And then you get all the great content that is put up on our show. You know what I can do for everybody? I can throw it up on a banner. Bam. Look at that. And it'll ticker the entire time. Let's go through the National Basketball Association here, ladies and gentlemen, so everybody can get an idea. Last night was essentially opening night for majority of the league, so we'll go through it here really quickly for the people. Pacers defeated the Pistons 115-109. Pascal Siakam led the way with 19. Cade Cunningham had 28. for the Pistons. We'll see if they get any better as an organization. The Hawks narrowly defeat the Nets 120-116. Trae Young led the way for the Hawks, 30 points, 12 assists. Zachary Risacher made his first 3-point and points. He was the number 1 overall draft pick in the NBA last year. We had this conversation, my buddies and I, yesterday. Which draft matters the least in sports? I got to tell you, I think it's the NBA. And I don't mean matters the least in terms of like no one cares about it or watches it. I think in terms of like how many players actually result in being people that impact the league or being players that you know of or live up even to the standard of where they were drafted. I just feel like the NBA's draft and the other 3 leagues is it's almost like a wild card. You're playing Russian roulette with drafting in the National Basketball Association. The Magic beat the Heat on Pat Riley floor dedication night. Pablo Banchero led the way, all scores, and the Orlando Magic, 33 points, 11 rebounds. I wonder what type of year it's going to be for the Heat. Didn't start off well. Giannis Antetokounmpo led the way for the Bucks as they played a hurt already 76ers team. Antetokounmpo had 25 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. Tyrese Maxey led the way for Philly, 25.6 rebounds. They need to get Joel Embiid and Paul George back to see what that team looks like. The Cavaliers, 136. The Raptors, 106. Evan Mobley led the way. All scorers, 25 points. Hornets defeat the Rockets. LaMelo Ball returns, 34 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. Anthony Sengun, he had 25 points, 18 rebounds for the Rockets. I don't think the Rockets are very good. We'll see what the Hornets are. I feel like there's always been some hype around LaMelo Ball over his older brother Lonzo Ball, and neither really led up to the hype. Again, talking about the draft pick, they were both drafted top 5 in the league. But LaMelo, way more opportunity if he can stay healthy. Pelicans beat the Bulls 123-111. Brandon Ingram led the way, 33 points. Grizzlies beat the Jazz 126-124. Ja Morant's back. He scored 22. I can't even say this guy's name. I think it's Lauri Markkanen. There you go. I had to click the phonetic. That helped me out. Suns, I mentioned before, overtime winner. They spoil Intuit Dome's start of a dome. James Harden led the way in all scores, 29 points. Bradley Beal for the Suns, 24 points. And then the Warriors late night defeat the Blazers, 139-104. They clearly look okay without Klay Thompson. We'll see how that goes. Steph Curry led the way for the Warriors, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. And that was the National Basketball Association yesterday. Let's finish the show with some daily bananas. We had Steph over 4.5 threes last night. That did not happen. He only hit 3 threes, so we did not get that. We had the Bucks at -3.5. We nailed that. They beat the Sixers by 15. And then we had LaMelo Ball over 7.5 assists. He nailed that with 11. So it was a 2-in-1 day yesterday for Mr. Rome Show, and he is 121-97 since the start of the Rome Show in January on his bananas picks. Let's put some more bananas on your bushel before the Rome Show ends tonight. We have a National Football League showdown of the Vikings at the Rams. We've talked about it already. Let's pick it. The Vikings are only favored by 3. I believe that's because they are on the road. But if they played the Lions last week and only lost by 2, they've proved their worth. We've talked about them enough today. I think they're a good enough team to go on the road and not only beat the Rams, but beat the Rams by 3. So I'm going to take the Vikings, and I'm going to take them at -3. Then I'm going to go Justin Jefferson over the 84.5 receiving yards that I found him at on Banana Duel. I think that him and Sam Darnold are going to keep connecting. And again, I go back on the fact that this Rams defense is not very good. And then when you flip it to the Rams offense, it's like, what weapons are on the field? Matthew Stafford's throwing 2. So then you're saying, let's try and run the rock. Okay. If you can keep the Vikings offense off the field, run the rock, control the clock, good things can happen if you are the Rams. So I'm going to take Kyren Williams over receiving plus rushing. Everybody knows I love to pick the receiving plus rushing category. I'm taking it again with Kyren Williams. I think it's going to be a good day for him as he is the primary. So Minnesota -3, Jefferson over 84.5 receiving, and Kyren Williams over 92.5 rushing plus receiving. That is your Daily Bananas, and this has been The Rome Show, 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV, channel 217. Follow us on social media, The Rome Show 1. Follow the show, go to YouTube, 12OZ Sports, and follow the YouTube page, and you'll get all the stuff that you need. I'm Andrew Romanella saying happy birthday to myself. Everybody have an electric day, and until tomorrow, peace!
Thank you for listening.